Okay, well, here's part 2 of The Psychopathic Influence, The Hidden Evil by Mark M. Rich. I had more than enough space on my phone to record this entire chapter, but for some reason, it just clicked off in the middle. I can't even imagine who would have done something like that except the fucking criminals. Excuse my French. But anyway, let's continue with the psychopaths. The psychopathic influence. Yes, and they are sick. So, continuing. They learn how to detect others like themselves and form cliques. As they get older, some of them create seemingly benevolent groups, which are used to further their objective of achieving power. Beginning in childhood, most of them practice mimicking normal emotional responses and reactions in order to blend in with society, and any high-level emotions that they express are the result of such practice. They often go out of their way to appear friendly and make positive impressions at first. To most people, they will seem unordinary. Usually, they're good conversationalists and successfully present themselves in a positive manner. But they are a different subspecies. Oh, do you see that little bug on the screen? They're throwing these critters into my house. Some researchers agree that the traits exhibited by these people produce a division of stronger than age, race, and religion, which places them in a separate category of humans. In other words, these people are almost not human as we know it, and they're controlling the world. Yes, and this program. The word antisocial does not describe someone who prefers to sit at home rather than attend gatherings. More accurately, it means anti-human. Most people can't bring themselves to understand the mindset of a psychopath because they have not studied this subject. They have trouble understanding how psychopaths think and what they do. In 2006 book, Political Ponerology, A Science on the Nature of Evil Adjusted for Political Purposes, Dr. Andrew M. Lobosky wrote, The psychocratic world, a world of pathological egotism and terror, is so difficult to understand for people raised outside the scope of this phenomenon that they often manifest childlike naivety, even if they have studied psychopathology and are psychologists by profession. But if you can, try to imagine someone who seeks power for no reason other than to have power, or someone who deceives just to experience the delight of having done so, or someone who tortures another person physically or emotionally for the enjoyment of watching them suffer. Imagine someone doing these things and not losing a moment's sleep at night, zero remorse. And add to all of this how simple it is for them to conceal themselves from an extremely naive public. Psychopaths have been described as the monsters in our society. Probably some of the best skills to learn would be how to detect these people and neutralize their attacks. Dr. Hare, who refers to them as intraspecies predators, says that they are missing emotional information on the very basic level that connects them to the human race. And I'll just tell you that when I went through studying for my master's paper, it led me to believe that the medicating of children falsely diagnosed with ADHD and the negative side effects of those, how do I phrase it, for they tube. You know, the negative side effects of the Adderall, Concerta, Ritalin, methylphenidate, drugs, is the lack of empathy, because it interferes with the normal biological, physiological, emotional, sexual stages of development. So we are creating a society of psychopaths. Imagine someone doing these things and not losing a moment's sleep at night. No remorse, zero remorse. Psychopaths have been described as the monsters in our society. Probably some of the best skills to learn would be how to detect these people and neutralize their attack. Dr. Hare refers to them as intraspecies predators. He says that they're missing emotional information. If you think about it, he adds, you will realize that what is missing in this picture are the very qualities that allow human beings to live in social harmony. In addition to carrying out goal-oriented acts, the psychopath also deceives and creates chaos for no reason other than the enjoyment of doing so. He will, says Dr. Checkley, or she will, in fact commit such deeds in the absence of any apparent goal at all. It's just for the thrill of it. They just get off on it. This critical factor is often one which baffles most rational people. So when seeking an explanation for the behavior of a psychopath, they will attempt to apply reason. But when dealing with a psychopath or an organization controlled by them, we must consider their profile. Psychopaths in politics. If this 4% of the population exists at all levels of society in any given period, that's way understated. I'm telling you. What's the date of this book? It's understated. Well, this one is 2024. I think it was originally, let's see, 2008. So the first edition was 2008. I don't know if it's been updated, but yeah, perhaps in 2008. There was 4%. That's way understated. I'm going to say it's probably up to 15 or 18%. It could even be higher than that. Most people simply want a good job and high standard of living for their families. Their ambitions stop there. But there are others, he says, who think much differently. They're only concerned with power. And if these men happen to be billionaires, he pondered, it's not only possible that they would use men like Hitler and Lenin as pawns to seize power for themselves. He spelled it wrong here. Goal-oriented deceitfulness, superficial charm, friendly appearance, and having no remorse are other traits which allow them to achieve their goals. If they're also wealthy, they will definitely use this to their advantage. This may extend to the creation of a humanitarian front group to serve as part of their mask. Oh my goodness gracious. We can go on and on about that topic, right? Almost all of these millionaires, billionaires have those big philanthropic organizations which hide all their evils. Evil people are often busy building for themselves various fronts for disguise to further their ambitions. They will exert even more energy than the average person to establish and maintain a facade of respectability. So, unlike in the movies, evil does not reveal itself as the bad guy dressed in black or the monster in plain sight. Evil will very rarely expose itself to the public light. It must hide. That's why they're little cowards. And it almost always hides under the guise of something righteous. Those who are evil, Dr. Peck stated, are masters of disguise. Now let's examine the track record of the financial elite. They have created wars for profit and control, which have resulted in the death of millions of people for which they exhibit no remorse. They don't care. They laugh about it. It's fun. It's funny. We're just useless eaters. We're cattle. They've allowed attacks to occur, create depressions, and overthrown governments to further their ambitions. They have repeatedly lied about these events using their media and academic institutions. These wealthy people masquerade as saviors. They disguise themselves as public front organizations which appear to be good-natured. They repeatedly created these catastrophes for their own benefit. They plan to install a global dictatorship with them in complete control. They certainly appear to be textbook psychopaths. They come from the very highest social strata, wrote Allen. They are immensely wealthy, highly educated, and extremely cultured. Many of them have lifelong reputations for philanthropy. Nobody enjoys being put in a position of accusing prominent people of conspiring to enslave their fellow Americans, but the facts are inescapable. If you were to research the people throughout history that have committed atrocities against populations, you would probably find that most were psychopaths. Although our history books describe some of these events, they don't emphasize the pattern. When psychopaths rule a society, it will exhibit their traits, generally be heavily corrupted, but will appear humane. Symptoms can be observed from the highest levels of government down to the street level. If you wanted to witness the madness of a civilization under a psychopathic rule, you need not visit the state capital or a major city, because the smallest village, will exhibit these traits. Well, I'm living in it. I'm living in this small psychopathic village. When a nation of other organization begins this process of polarization, the sickness spreads down to the lower levels. Psychopaths and other deviants are drawn to it like a magnet. Some are installed in key positions of influence. Dr. Lobezewski described it this way. The actions of this phenomenon affect an entire society, starting with the leaders and infiltrating every village, small town, factory, business, or farm. The pathological social structure gradually covers the entire country, creating a new class within the nature. And this privileged class of deviants feels permanently threatened by the others. Yeah, we've known that. They feel threatened by us. They're scared. They're so scared of us. They're very, very scared of us. And they can't show their faces either. They hide. Immoral attitudes are projected, while moral ones are ridiculed. Enemies are created. The destructive process ends with genocide and persecution. Other extremely useful skills to learn is the ability to detect a nation under pathological influence, and I believe that we are here. As already demonstrated, you must control the streets in order to instill a dictatorship, and to do this, a portion of the civilian population is selected to enforce the dictator's rule on the street level. Historical evidence suggests that this usually consists of a core operational centers of a society. The attack cycle. It's very difficult to describe an event that must be experienced in order to understand it. The event I'm referring to is the observation of the psychopathic system in its true form after the mask has been removed. This is deeply horrific experience for the normal person that can cause severe trauma, and we are experiencing that severe trauma. It was described by Dr. Lobezewski in this manner: if someone has personally experienced such a nightmarish reality, he considers people who have not progressed in understanding it within the same time frame to be simply presumptuous and sometimes even malicious. Because psychopaths do not have access to high-level emotions, they are necessary for self-reflection and personal growth, and they do not grow spiritually. They have little or no wisdom. That's why they go after the spiritually inclined, the targeted people. Instead, they undergo a type of ego maintenance by perpetually attacking others. They select and degrade one person after the next as part of an attack cycle. It is important for the psychopath to completely degrade the victim. Some have determined that the ultimate purpose of the attack is to enhance and protect the inflated, vulnerable ego, their false self. During the attack, the psychopaths receive sadistic gratification by inflicting emotional or physical pain upon people they perceive as objects that threaten their personal survival. Isn't it amazing, guys? You guys threaten their survival. Me too. Let's see. Mocking and controlling behavior is quite common. Yes. Because these threats to the false self are ongoing, so is the attack cycle. They're known to derive the most enjoyment attacking people who they perceive as being superior to them in some manner. This encounter with the psychopathic mind has been the experience of many hidden evil targets across the planet. McKinney explained that the agencies carrying out these attacks appear to demand a perverted sense of loyalty from their victims, who they view as objects. In other words, they want their victims to submit to them. Yeah, well, good luck with that. Good luck. Keep trying. These people are surely psychopaths who are using the state's resources to attack people as part of a predictable attack cycle. This is consistent with Dr. Lobezewski's premise, which states that the controlling psychopathic faction of a society will recruit low-level psychopaths to do their bidding. In this case, the degenerates in organizations that are allotted these resources are having fun eliminating their master's enemy. The pathological factor also helps us understand why people who are more spiritually and morally evolved than the masses are being identified and attacked. And such individuals are the first to be targeted in regimes controlled by psychopaths. And there you have it, the psychopathic influence. Well, then we go on to, let's see how long this one is, because, let me see. This one is quite long, but I can start. This is going to be an interesting chapter. I could read a little bit on it. It's the Satanic Influence. Introduction. We'll just read this page. Satanism encompasses the international... Oh, I don't know. Can I say this? No, I don't know if I could say this. The international kiddo... when they steal a kiddo. Drug... Traffic lights. Human... can I say this? Unaliving humans for a ritual, unaliving and other crimes that are part of a vast underground of criminal organization. Multiple researchers contend that Satanists are often respected members of society. Oh yeah, like that. What was that Aquino guy in the military? He looked like the devil. There's a definite satanic manifestation within the hidden evil, which is evident during group stalking. McKinney found a striking similarity between the tactic used by this worldwide group and those reported by people who have been stalked after breaking ties with satanic cults. And Dr. Kildee also noted the frequent use of satanic themes. Targets may be stalked by an unusual amount of red vehicles and citizens dressed in red. Citizens with satanic apparel such as devil figures may be seen. Oh yeah, like they draw the monster symbol on the county road, like they embed it in the asphalt, the monster symbol. You know, those lines, those squiggly lines. License plates, which include the numbers 666 and 696, and variations of these are used. The people who are used to convey these messages may not be aware that they're participating in a satanic theme. This is not surprising because most appear to be unaware of the nature of the program in general. Although I think the majority are not, some of these people may be Satanists. According to the former FBI senior special agent Ted Gunderson, the satanic influence originates from the highest levels of government and business. Satanists control the transnational corporations which run the commercial system in the U.S. and other countries. He lists specific societal areas and organizations under a satanic influence, such as the military, federal and local police, courts, the Federal Reserve and Wall Street, education, the American Historical Association, the American Psychological Association, which is the APA, the American Medical Association, the AMA, hospitals and mental institutions, the FDA, communications such as the internet, telephone, and post office, transportation such as airlines, trains, roads, highways, religion and science, utilities such as gas, electric, and oil, the entertainment industry including movie production, TV, music, and casinos, the media, and most corporations. This satanic influence within the controlling elite organization filters down into the executive branch and intelligence agencies. And from there it extends into state and local governments. Although there may be other organizations which are satanic in nature that influence governments, I focused on the Bohemian Grove and the Order of Skull and Bones. The existence of these organizations is incontrovertible. They are both heavily interlocked with the think tanks we learned about in the first volume. It's only a question of whether or not they're satanic in nature and how much influence they have on our society. So the Order of the Skull and Bones is called just Skull and Bones. The Order of Death, the Brotherhood of Death, and the Order of Death's Head. The order was founded in 1832 with William Huntington Russell and Alfonso Taft. It is said to be an American branch, Chapter 322, of a German Masonic Illuminati group in Bavaria. Confirmation of its existence and the fact that its members occupy key positions in business and politics have appeared in the mass media. For instance, during 2004 presidential candidacy, articles appearing in the Baltimore Sun, CBS News, Washington Post, The Guardian, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution confirmed that both Kerry and Bush were members. John F. Kerry, George W. Bush also admitted to being members on television during a live interview on Meet the Press. There have been books published on the order that have received favorable establishment reviews, and although most of this coverage was a whitewash, it did reveal a pattern of members occupying the executive branch. Each year during commencement week 15, juniors receive a tap, quote unquote. They're asked, skull and bones, accept or reject. Most say yes. After initiation, the members spend only 1 year at Yale, and upon graduation receive $15,000 and a grandfather clock. The organization, says Professor Sutton, is oriented to the postgraduate outside world. Members of the order are elevated to key positions in government. See, if you join their club, if you join their little club, and you say yes, you're initiated, your little club, then you get to pass go. It was legally incorporated as the Russell Trust at Yale University in 1856. It conducts yearly meetings at Deer Island in New York, which was donated in 1906 by a member of the order, G. Douglas Miller, 1870. The core membership consists of about 20 or 30 wealthy American families who originally settled in the East Coast in the 17th century. These families include Whitney, Lord, Phelps, Wadsworth, Allen, Bundy, Adams, and others. It also includes families which later acquired wealth, such as Rockefeller, Sloan, Pillsbury, like the Doughboy, Davison, Harriman, and Payne, Payne. An article appearing in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution in March 2004, entitled "Galleys of Bush, Kerry Can Keep a Secret," stated, Bush and Kerry are only the latest bonesmen to star on the national stage. President George Bush, the incumbent's father, was also a member of Skull and Bones. I mean, who wants to be a member of Skull and Bones? I don't know. Makes no sense to me. But I'm going to end here on that very exciting note. I don't know. There's just symbolism itself is disgusting. So please remember to hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there. And I'm so sorry that I had to break this in two, but somebody controlled my phone and cut off my video in half. So now I'm at 25 minutes. The last one was 14 minutes, and I had more than enough space to record the entire video in one video. Just goes to show you what these criminals do. They like to waste my time and yours. So anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I'm going to sign off for now. And I hope everybody's going to have a good night. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And just remember, this was on the Satanic Influence, and we did the Psychopathic. We read the Psychopathic Influence. On the Satanic Influence, I did not read all of it. I've got, oh my goodness, about 10 pages left. It's a long chapter. So I'm going to sign off for now.